Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Well, we have crowned our major champions, the first of the season, and we're about to get into that in this week's pod. Yeah, we have a full British Championships kind of review, I guess, reaction, kind of wrap up the entire thing. We're going to chat about everything that happened in Edinburgh this past weekend. So that's in this week's topic. So we have a lot of ground to cover. Now, last week's podcast was a bit of an epic, an opus, if you will. So, yeah, quite a lengthy episode last week. So this one will be a little bit shorter. We did get a few bits of listener mail about that saying, Rab, your podcasts are far too long, sir. Would you knock it off? So that's what we're doing. We're knocking it off. We're shortening it down. And let's get into our introductions then, shall we? As a result, if this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, you are welcome. We are the show for the piping folk, and we reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. And yeah, like every other podcast out there, we do have a Patreon.
Well, hello, pals and dames. The Patreon faithful are awesome. Solid send. The whole bunch is simply scrumptious. The Patreon faithful are awesome.
Yes, they are. Shout out to our Patreon faithful. Those folks who have clicked on support over there on Patreon have managed to get their mitts on loads of extras. Well, on Monday of this week, we actually published the next episode of our Fly on the Wall documentary. Yes, and this one, equal to our podcast, is quite an epic. Yeah, our Fly on the Wall documentary series, which shows you behind the scenes of what the Big Rab Show get up to. Each and every week, producing this show. So, myself and the rest of the folks of the Rab Show team are filming all sorts of behind-the-scenes-y kind of stuff, which is really cool. And, the month of May was quite a hectic month because, come on, it was the start of the season here in the UK, so we had a lot of ground to cover. And, our documentary has covered a lot of ground as a result, so it's nearly 2 hours long. Yeah, so if you do want to go and check that out, it's up there now on Patreon, our behind-the-scenes documentary, the latest episode of which is now available. And also, I have to give a shout-out to our Patreon faithful as well, who tuned in last night to Fuse. A good number of you tuned in to Fuse FM last night, and you were mentioning how it's good to get the show live rather than recorded, and you can download it each week. So yeah, shout-out to the Patreon faithful. You guys are awesome. Absolutely. There's a link in your show notes if you do want to go and check it out. There you are. Right. With each and every Big Rab Show, we do open the door to listener mail. And this week is no different. Yes. The email address has never changed from the start of the show. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And we got an email in from Richard. He said, "Hey, Big Rab, just a quick email. Following controversy with security staff at majors over the past few years." Uh-oh. Oh, no. What are we talking about here, Richard? What's going on? He said, "On Saturday, my experience and my band's experience was great." Oh, what? I thought we were going to get something negative there. Okay, brilliant. My experience was great. We had a van with all of our instruments and uniforms outside the main park, and we could come in and out with ease, even when we left the main park in uniform and came back after changing into our normal clothes, and vice versa. They were great. A sensible approach to the whole thing. Maybe get these ones lined up for the Worlds. Oh, Richard, what are you doing? Yeah, the World's security staff have now become the stuff of legend. we talk about it every year. There's always a story with the security staff, but I'm very happy to hear reports that the security staff at the British Championships this past weekend were really positive. Now, that is part of our wrap-up, and I guess we'll get into that in the topic. But we did get other listener mail saying similar, saying that they had really positive experiences from the championships this past weekend. So we will bring all of that to our wrap-up. Yeah, but just wanted to kind of put that at the start of the show. Richard's email really did cheer me up. There you go. I was expecting a negative one whenever it mentioned security in the title, so there you go. Richard, shout out to you, mate. Thank you for emailing that in. And if anyone else does want to send us in anything, of course, our email address, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That's our address, never changed. You can let us know your thoughts and feelings on anything we chat about here on the show. All right, let's get into Weekly Drone then. Yeah, this is one of our favourite kind of sections on the show, I guess. It's an open microphone to the bagpiping world where you can tell us your thoughts on everything that's going on without fear of recrimination. Yeah, there's no identifying factors. It's anonymous, which is the beauty of it, I guess. Now, full disclosure, we did get a Weekly Drone titled Boston Bad Pipes, right? Not bagpipes, but bad pipes. And the Weekly Drone did talk about how this particular bagpiper from Boston was bad. Now, they included links and everything to recordings of the said piper that they were talking about. So the piper wasn't named, so we were thinking, okay, we can maybe broadcast this. But then whenever we went to check out the recordings were gone. They were taken offline. Gone. We couldn't find it. So we had no idea what this Weekly Drone was about. It was talking about a certain performance that was held in Boston, and we weren't aware of it. So, Weekly Droner, if you are out there, your Weekly Drone was received. We just couldn't access the recordings that you'd sent links to. So, there we go. We can't bring that Weekly Drone to air. Now, we do try to bring most, if not all, Weekly Drones to air. And, there may be reasons why we don't sometimes. So, yeah, whenever you're naming names and pointing fingers and stuff like that, we do draw the line there. But that was one that we just couldn't figure out. Yeah. All right, JD, I believe we do, though, have a couple on the shelf that we can broadcast. So this first one, JD, let us have it, man.
The Weekly Drone.
2026 season preview. Guruk snubbed? Rab, you stated in your 2026 season preview that the UK outdoor season starts at $1, which is a bit inaccurate as you already said a couple weeks ago that Guruk was the beginning of the outdoor season. Guruk had 51 band performances entered. Whilst, yes, there was only one Grade 1 band at Guruk this year, it is generally recognized as the beginning of the mainland UK season, not $1. Guruk is a sizable event, and lots of bands, including my own band, look forward to kicking off the season at Guruk. It seems a bit of a shame to discount arguably one of the biggest minor contests for a contest 2 weeks later as the beginning of the outdoor season.
Here we go. Okay, my apologies. Yes, you are quite correct in saying that Guruk is absolutely seen as the start of the UK season in the mainland. Yes, in Scotland, England, Wales. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, if I did say that $1 was the start of it, yeah, apologies. Yeah, I did get that wrong. So I'll take my lumps on that and...
Stuff the Rab got wrong.
Thank you, Weekly Droner. But that kind of gives you a bit of the tone of some of the hate mail we got following our season preview. And believe it or not, even though we've now finished with the first major in the season, we're still getting hate mail about our season preview for 2026 from competitions, bands in particular, all sorts. I don't know, that episode, man, just really seemed to annoy a lot of people. And it seemed to have annoyed that Weekly Droner there, who was quite upset that I didn't recognize Guruk as being the start of the mainland UK season. There you are. My apologies. It is absolutely stuff that Rab got wrong. Yeah, and I do get stuff wrong all the time here on the show. So anyway, let's move on. Thank you, Weekly Droner. I will take my lumps on that one. JD, give me another one.
The weekly drone.
List of ignored bands. Rab, the best thing to do with that list of bands who complained about not getting mentioned in your season preview is to keep it until an end of season review. At that point, you'll have two lists to go through. The first, likely much smaller, will be a list of bands that weren't mentioned but went on to win all around them, to which you can offer your sincerest apologies. The second, likely much longer, will be a list of bands that won saw it all season, to which you can offer a sincere "told you so."
Told you so. Now, would I do that? JD, for shame. Or Weekly Droner, for shame, I should say. I'll let the music play out on that one. Yeah, as to what we're going to do with this list. Now, since I was last chatting to you about this list of bands who complained about not being mentioned in our season preview, the list has increased in size. Like I've said, we are still receiving complaints in about our season preview. Now, I don't know. I reckon this is the last that we'll do a full season preview, because genuinely we just cannot shout out every single band in the scene. And it seems to be that's the case here. That we neglected to mention every band in 4B and 4A and 3B, 3A, etc. I just don't know how that could have been done, how we could have give a commentary on every band's story. That podcast would have been a 5 or 6 part podcast. I'd still be standing here next week and I would only have reached grade 2. So I don't know, folks. That season preview episode honestly has lit a fire under the piping scene, and I've seemed to have really ticked off a lot of people. And I did mention at the beginning of that topic to say, hey, we cannot shout everyone out. And by exclusion is by no means omission. It's just the list was just too long. So anyway, that episode, man, is definitely going to hit the cutting room floor for next season. I do not think we're going to have a 2027 season preview. Yeah, I think we've learned our lesson on that one. Yikes. But do you know what? We've done season previews before, and we've done plenty of them. And we've never had half of the backlash that we have had for this year, which is kind of crazy. It doesn't make sense. Like, why is 2026 different from all the previous years? I don't know what's going on. There's something in the water at the moment, I'm feeling. And especially even after this British Championships, which we'll get into. But a lot of the vitriol that we're receiving following the British Championships, with so many people with the tinfoil hats on, it's kind of crazy. We'll get into all of that in this week's topic, but there you go. Thank you, Weekly Droners. You did spend time on the website submitting your weekly drone, and I thank you for it. It is interesting to bring that commentary to the show, as always. So, yeah, if you do want to submit your own weekly drone, you can do. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com, that big button at the top of the page that says weekly drone. You can't miss it, and you can type it in. Let us know your thoughts and feelings about everything that's been happening in the scene, and I have no doubt after this week's episode, we'll probably get a wealth of even more weekly drones for next week. There you go. All right. That's it. Weekly Drone is done for this week. We will move swiftly on, and we will carry over a few weekly drones that we did receive, and we'll carry those over to next week. Yeah. All right. We are sharpening things up here on the show. As I said, we did get complaints that the show is possibly too long, so we're trying to shorten things down a bit. So I think it's time for me to take a wee break at this point. Yeah. And I'll be right back with some of the news and updates. Some of them. Does your piping feel ready for this upcoming season? Even if you've practiced and worked on your tunes, you may be feeling like you're meant to be farther ahead by now, which is why Dojo U is running Real Feedback Month this June. Join Dojo U for a free 30-day trial before June 5th to get direct feedback on the actual material you're planning to play this season. Their expert instructors will be reviewing your real recordings of your real tunes, showing you exactly what's working, what's not, on what to focus on next. You'll also learn a ton from hearing other pipers get feedback too. Your free month includes access to 15 plus live classes every week, with most of June focused around recordings, critiques, and getting performance ready before this season arrives. The whole thing starts Friday, June 5th, and that's also when the free 1 month offer disappears. So, if you want your off-season effort to build momentum before competition season, well, now's the time to join. Head to Dojo U and claim your free month before June 5th. Go to pipersdojo.com and sign up today. And welcome back. How you doing? There you go. Right. Supporting those who support us, I guess. And yeah, that wee break was much needed after the hammering I got in Weekly Drone this week. Right, let's get into some news stories. Now, as I've said, we're going to try and keep this as brief as possible. There has been a lot of ground covered by the piping scene this past week. And I'm going to initially give a huge shout out to the Glenfiddich Piping Championship. Now, this rolls around every year, and people seem to forget about it while the competitive band scene is happening. Yeah, and as a result, whenever the event rolls around at the end of October, people look on tickets and go, I can't get tickets for it, Rab. It's sold out. Well, I'm now warning you all well in advance. The upcoming 53rd Annual Glenfiddich Championship is taking place in Blair Castle in Perthshire on the 31st of October. Tickets are available now. Okay? I know this is June, and it's kind of crazy that I'm even talking about Glenfiddich at this point. But, tickets are available. I think they're 20 quid. And that's just to get access into the venue. But there are others available. You can get tickets for the Piper's Ceilidh as well, which I think are 70 quid per person. There's other options as well, including accommodation packages and things like that, where you get sparkling wine on arrival. Yeah, a 3-course dinner and a Ceilidh evening into the wee hours, and an open bar until approximately 11 p.m. Ooh. Yeah. But yeah, those accommodation offers are available as well. They're very attractive. So yeah, just go and check out the website right now. For anyone planning a trip to Blair Castle for the Glenfiddich, and you always get disappointed every year, I'm warning you now well in advance that the 53rd Annual Glenfiddich tickets are available now. Go to thepipingcentre.co.uk, follow the links for the Glenfiddich. All of your ticket information is there. Now, for those of us who maybe aren't going to be travelling to the Glenfiddich, there are also details of where you can go and register. You can pre-register for the online live stream. And I believe there's various different options available for that as well. Yeah. So go and check out the website for full details. Tickets are available. I know we haven't even confirmed the lineup or anything yet, but I'm just wanting to warn you well in advance. Tickets for the Glenfiddich, go and grab them. All right? If you have any plans at all to go and grab your tickets now and avoid your disappointment. Right. Speaking of tickets, by the way, I know I've been mentioning this most weeks, but we were talking about this last night on Fuse. But True North Strong from the 70th Fraser Highlanders, talk about limited tickets. I think the only ones that are left are those that have obstructed views of the stage. Yeah. Way up in the gods, way up at the back, at the outer circle, I think they call it. But all of the, the seats that are available are highlighted in red. And whenever you look at them, obstructed view. So not the best seats are available. So I think by all intents and purposes, this event will pretty much be sold out within the next week or so, I would guarantee. So there you go. If you are anyways wanting to get a ticket for True North Strong, well, you may well be sitting way up in the nosebleeds and might not have a full view of the stage because tickets are now extremely limited. So there you go. I know it sounds like a shameless plug, but I'm just warning you because it happens every year. People go, I might go to that 70th concert. When is it? Oh, it's tomorrow. What? Have you got your ticket for it? No. Well, then you're out of luck. Okay? I'm just warning you now. If you do want to go and see the 70th, go to the website, Glasgow Royal Concert Hall box office, go and grab them, avoid your disappointment, and then you can thank me later. Yeah, there you go. All right, so that's enough ticket talk for now. Let's talk about this upcoming weekend's piping action, shall we? Yeah, we've got quite a packed weekend ahead of us. This weekend here locally in Northern Ireland, we have the Mid-Ulster Championships, of course, in sunny Cookstown High School. Well, what I'm hoping will be a sunny weekend. Yeah, so for full information about everything to do, this is actually quite detailed. I have to give a shout out to the Northern Ireland branch, actually. Go to rspbani.org, where I think they have covered practically everything that you could do at a competition. You know, food, drink, barbecues, first aid, lost persons, flying of drones, what to do with your litter, even like dogs. Yeah, like all sorts of guidance here. And even the guidance around gazebos is fascinating. Talking all about public liability insurance and all of this. Very interesting stuff. So all that information about this upcoming weekend's Mid-Ulster Championships is up there now on the rspbani.org website. I'm going to briefly look at the draw for each one of the competitions that's happening this weekend. Starting with 4B at the Mid-Ulsters, there's 7 bands in there. We have Garva, Joseph Ford Memorial, Brady Ulster Scots, Hollymount, Major Sinclair Memorial, Tullylagan, and Rafo. That's your 4B. Moving into 4A then for the Mid-Ulsters, we have 11 bands here. We have Grantia, Ballybreast, Cottown, Marlacoo, Queen Elizabeth, Altnavay Memorial, Hollymount, Letterkenny and District, Graham Memorial, Clontibret, Moneygore, and Brady Ulster Scots. There you are. Quite a big grade in there for 4A. Good stuff. Moving on to 3B then, we have 9 bands in there. In total, we have Grantia, Down Pipes and Drums, William Kerr Memorial, Black Raven are making the journey up. We have the Graham Memorial, Clontibret who are playing up. We have Upper Crossgar, Drumloch, New Rossin District, and Ballybowley, and that's your 3B. On to 3A then, we've 13 bands in total for the Mid-Ulsters this weekend. We have Clough-Finn, Ballybowley, Matt Boyd Memorial, Down Pipes and Drums, Major Sinclair Memorial, Kildogue, Cullabackie, Irvine Memorial, William Kerr Memorial, Sirland District, New Rossin District, McNeilstown, and Drumloch. So 13 bands, big grade. Moving on to grade 2, the ridiculous grade. We have 10 bands in total here. We have Sirla and District, Matt Boyd Memorial, Kildogue, McNeilstown, Major Sinclair Memorial, Cullabackie, Tullylagan, Clough-Finn, Manor Cunningham, and the Irvine Memorial. There you are. And we do have a grade 1 on the day, actually. Ravara are heading in for a tune. There you are. So, as I say, there's a full complement of drum majoring action as well. There's 4 heats for our novice, for example. Whew, that's packed. Yeah, under juniors with 4 heats for them. Onto juvenile with 3 heats for those. And, our adults, we have 3 heats for those as well. So quite a busy weekend for our drum majors as well. Full details, I'm not going to read any more hashtag lists for all things Mid-Ulster Championships are all going to be up on the RSPBA Northern Ireland website. There you are. Right. Also happening this weekend, of course, thanks to the Lothian and Borders branch, is the Innerleithen. And am I pronouncing that correctly? Or is that... I hope that's not stuff that Rab got wrong. But yeah, Innerleithen competition is this weekend. And we have some Novice B to kick us off. We have Preston Lodge High School and George Watson's going to be there. Yeah. In grade 4B, pretty small grade in 4B, we have Stockbridge and Dunbar RBL. There you are. Grade 4A, we have George Watson's College, Novice A are playing up. There you go. We have Preston Lodge High School, McDougall, McQueen, Pennewick and District. There you are. Now, McDougall McQueen, I'm guessing that's a sponsor. Now, again, that could be... Yeah, but McDougall McQueen, Pennewick and District. Now, I'm normally used to reading out Pennewick and District, but I think that's a sponsor. So let me know, is that stuff that Rab got wrong? Yeah. Also in 4A, we have Barhead and District, and we also have George Watson's College. There you go. We just have a collective grade 3 on the day where McDougall, McQueen, Pennewick and District are playing up there. There you are. We have Stockbridge as well. We have George Watson's College, Novice A. We have Tweedville, Camelonan District, George Watson's College, Juvenile, and the PL. Preston Lodge High School Juvenile are competing there too. Moving on to the ridiculous grade in grade 2, we have Stockbridge, PL, the Juvenile Band. There you go. Preston Lodge. We have George Watson's College as well, and Camelonan District, and that's your grade 2. There you go. Now, we do have some drum major in action as well. We have 2 adult drum majors, and we have 4 competing in the juvenile competition. Again, for full information, you can go to the RSPBA website where the full draw has been published. And good luck to everyone there in Innerleithen. That's shaping up to be an exciting one there. There you go. All right, Moving on, we do have more competition action happening this weekend, of course. We have the Mark Inch Highland Games, thanks to Dundee, Perth and Angus. Yeah, so where am I going to start with this? This one's actually quite exciting. So, yeah, starting with Grade Novice Juvenile B, we have the High School of Dundee, Burnt Island and District, and the Edinburgh Academy. That's your Novice Juvenile B. Moving on to Grade 4B on the day then, 5 bands in total. We have Uddingston Strathclyde, the Vale of Atholl, Queensferry Pipes and Drums, Kincardine and District, and Alyth and District. There you are. Moving on to Grade 4A, we have the High School of Dundee, Novice Juvenile A. Yeah. We have Lochgilly High School Junior Novice Juvenile A. We have Denny and Dunnypace, City of St Andrews, Kirkcaldy District, High School of Dundee Novice Juvenile B, and the Edinburgh Academy Novice Juvenile B. There you are. Moving on then, Grade 3, we have a collective Grade 3 here with 10 bands in total. Kicking things off with Methil District. Then we have Burnt Island District, Lochgilly High School Juvenile. Then we have the Livingston Caledonia. Go on, the Livy! You. Then we have the Vale of Atholl. Then we have Govan. Then we have Binbrook Lightnings. We have Denny and Dunnypace, the High School of Dundee Novice Juvenile A, and Lochgilly High School Junior. There you are, it's the Novice Juvenile A band. We do have a Grade 2 on the day. We have 5 bands in total. Yeah, we have the City of Edinburgh, Methil District, Burnt Island District, Lochgilly High School, the Juvenile Band, and we have Livingston Caledonia challenging up in Grade 2. Excellent. And we have 1 band on the day that's stepping out in Grade 1, and that is the City of Edinburgh. There you are. So again, for full information on all of these contests that I've just mentioned, you can go along to the RSPBA website. They are all listed there with their associated draws and their information stuff. It's all up there. All right. Now, I'm also aware that there's 2 other competitions taking place this weekend, but I've yet to find information about them online anywhere. Yeah, now as to why that is, I have no idea. But yeah, this weekend we have the Milwaukee Highland Games. I've yet to see the draw from this. So if anyone is competing in Milwaukee, or as someone once told me, Milwaukee. Yeah. The Milwaukee Highland Games, I think that's from Bill and Ted. Or no, what do you call the movie? Wayne's World? Yeah, I think it's from Wayne's World. I don't know. Milwaukee. Yeah, the Milwaukee Highland Games are this weekend. Stop being daft, Rab. But yeah, I haven't been able to find the draw for it. Yeah, so if you have that, please supply it to us, and we'd love to check out who is competing at that. Yeah. Also this weekend is the Hamilton Pipe Band competition as well. I believe that's in Ontario. Now, we haven't, again, been able to find any of the draw details for that contest either. So, again, we're quite keen to find out who's competing, what can we expect in the circle. So, yeah, ourselves in the Big Rab Show this weekend, of course, we will be covering things at the Mid-Ulster Championships, but we also have hopes to cover things in the Innerleithen and the Mark Inch competitions as well. Hopefully. We're going to do our best to try and cover as much as we can. Yeah. I'm also aware that this weekend there is a competition being held in Girvan, thanks to the Ayrshire, Dumfries and Galloway branch. That is listed on the website. It's happening on the 7th, but again, no draw actually published for that one. So I don't know. Is that event still happening? We haven't seen the draw for that. So yeah, you can let us know. bigrabshow@gmail.com. Is that stuff that Rab got wrong?
The Rab got wrong.
It's quite possible. Yeah. All right. Well, also, I'm going to put in a huge shameless plug here at this point for Big Rab Show Live at Pipin' Live. Yeah. People have been asking all sorts of questions about tickets for Pipin' Live, and our advice is to go along to the Pipin' Live website. It seemed to be everyone I was chatting to over the course of this past week were all saying, Rab, I'd really love to go to that thing of yours, but where do you get your tickets? Can I buy them from you? No, we're not selling the tickets. Yeah, we are not a box office. We're not selling the tickets. The event is selling the tickets. So Pipin' Live is where you need to go. Go to the website, pipinlive.co.uk, or you can even pop into the National Piping Centre. I'm sure they'll hook you up with tickets. Our best advice, I think, is if you are going to be attending the festival for more than one day, you can get day passes, and they're fine. They give you the full access to the site and everything, and that's cool. But if you are going to be attending any Pipin' Live event over the course of the week, our advice is the best value for money, I was going to say, is the festival pass. Now, these festival passes grant you access pretty much to everything, and then there are those kind of high ticket items after that, like the Pipe Idol final and stuff like that. So Anyway, my advice for all information and ticketing and all that stuff, go to pipinlive.co.uk. That's where it is. All right. Now, hopefully that'll kind of lay waste to all of the questions I've been getting this past week. It's all been, Rob, can I buy a ticket off you for your show? No, you can't. You have to go to Pipin Live and get it from them. There you are. Just to remind you of the lineup that we're expecting for Big Rab Show Live at Pipin Live, we have Keelan the Bagpiper. Yeah, he's been really churning out the tunes on socials this last while. If you aren't following Keelan on social media, go and check him out. Seriously, the bagpiping this young fella produces is unbelievable. And he released a version not too long ago of a lullaby for Mel. Oh, mate. What? Absolutely blistering. Anyway, go and check it out. I've been following him on TikTok now for ages, and I really enjoy his stuff. It's just fantastic. So hence the reason he's now playing on Rab Show Live. Just brilliant. Can't wait to see him. We also have Drumlock Pipe Band going to be making an appearance. I'm looking forward to seeing the Drumlock guys. Yeah, they've been really impressing so far. Yeah, I know it's early in the season, but honestly, the music they're producing is really enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to seeing the guys at Drumlock there joining us for a big party. Yeah. Also, we have a good mate of the show that's performed at Rab Show Live before. We have Hugh Smighton, who's going to be giving us a bit of a solo snare drumming demonstration. Bit of a solo spot. Yeah, putting some drumming on the stage. Looking forward to that. We also have a very special drum major display, which I believe is currently in the works. I think the drum majoring team that we have in place have already started the ball rolling, preparing for Pipin Live. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Yeah. And then possibly one of the highlights on the day, North Stratton will be appearing at Big Rab Show Live. Yeah. So we have Keelan the Bagpiper, Drumlock, Hugh Smighton, a drum major display, and the North Stratton Pipe Band. Now, we have a bunch of surprises as well along the way that we haven't announced yet. And I don't know. I'm a bit reluctant to announce them, to be honest. If you do want to find out what those surprises are, well, you're going to need to be there. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm famous for letting the cat out of the bag, so I'm going to do my best not to. But yeah, there will be some surprises, some really cool things at this celebration. Now, people have kind of worked it out by the calendar that whenever episode 500 drops, it will actually be Pipin Live week. Yes, you're quite right. We will actually be in Glasgow whenever episode 500 drops. And yeah, those of you who've been listening to the Rab Show for long enough, you know exactly what our 500th episode is going to be. It's going to be our World Championship prediction podcast. Yeah. So that's going to be such a special episode. And we're going to try and predict the winners of this year's Worlds like we do every year. And we always get it disastrously wrong, but it will also be our 500th. So it's going to be a very special week for us. So I hope you can come along to Pipin Live as we celebrate 500 episodes of the show. And it's just going to be a great party. It's going to be good crack. So go to pipinlive.co.uk, grab your tickets for what will be quite a special moment here on the show. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it for the news and updates. I am going to wrap it up at this point. Now, I am very aware that there's tons of other stuff that we could have been chatting about, okay? Loads of other stuff, but because we got complaints in about the previous few episodes being way too long, I'm going to wrap it up at this point because pretty much everyone's been tuning in wanting to find out our thoughts and feelings about all things British Championships. So, if there is any news stories that we did neglect to mention, and we absolutely should, well then please do email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com, and we'll definitely try and include it in next week's episode, okay? But, I say for now, we're going to try and cover a lot of ground very quickly this week. Let's get into this week's topic. I think it's time for me to finally go and get myself a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Ghillie Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Marchify, the brand new home of Flam 5 drumming. Check out their brand new Strike bagpipe case, inspired by their colourful, popular and reliable Flam 5 drum cases. The Strike bagpipe case combines durability, style and practicality, protecting every movement. Shop now at marchify.co.uk with worldwide shipping available. Marchify, every movement protected. Okay, let's get into it. The 2026 British Pipe Band Championships opened its gates in the Royal Highland Centre this past weekend there in Eglinton, just outside Edinburgh. And I don't know, talk about an event that has absolutely started the ball rolling for what will be such an exciting season is an understatement. The competition on offer here at this was just another level. I think, honestly, that's where I want to start with this. Standards across the board, not just grade 1, but obviously we'll talk about the top grade, but across all grade levels, from grassroots up to the top flight, genuinely, I believe, has risen. Now, I will argue with anyone about this. I honestly think that standards across the board has risen. All of the recordings and performances that I've managed to capture and listen to, I honestly think that bands have certainly hit the ground running. It's very clear that everyone has been in band halls around the world preparing, and yeah, the work has been put in. It's absolutely fantastic. Listening to everyone out there playing out of their socks, it's just fantastic. So well done to all of you. I know I'm going to go through the results and talk about who won what and where, but for everyone in that circle, I know this sounds like a terrible old cliche, but if you're in that circle, that's a win right there. You know, it seems like I'm talking about this way too often, about bands that are no longer in the circle. You know, I've had to step away, take a hiatus, whatever, or even folding and all that kind of stuff. There's too many of those negative stories of bands deciding to call it a day. Well, if your band is in that circle and you're playing tunes, to me, that's a win. And yeah, congratulations to everyone who stepped out at the British Championships. Wow, well done to all of you. Right, let's talk about the venue itself. Now, as you heard earlier in the show, we did get some listener mail in talking about the security. Now, I've heard other stories where security staff were actually helping bands load their stuff into the venue. Yeah, now, imagine asking folks with the yellow coats on at the Worlds, here, could you lift that trolley for me and help wheel it in? You know, say you were loading in a gazebo or something on a trolley with 4 wheels, and you say, hey, you with the yellow jacket, can you give me a pull with this thing? It's really heavy. Do you think at the Worlds they would help you? Absolutely not. They would look at you as if you've had, if it's just passed gas, I'd say that. But yeah, shout out to the security staff at the British. Honestly, I've been hearing glowing reports all across, and there was reports of them helping load gear in and all the rest, but also, oops, I dropped my pen. At the end of the event as well, they were helping people pack up and clean up after themselves, which was brilliant to hear. So the bands were doing it themselves, but also the security staff were helping. So fantastic. That's a win right there, you know? So yeah, shout out to the security staff. Also, to talk about the catering options, I believe the food options available were really good. A lot of people had a lot of compliments about the food offerings and stuff. And let's talk about the Portaloo situation. Oh, the Portaloo situation. Yeah, apparently the toilet facilities at the venue were top class. Now, yeah, apparently there wasn't any of the normal blue sort of Portaloos that you normally see. Those, like, I know somebody said it on the live stream, a thunderbox. Yeah, those blue Portaloos that everyone dreads. Apparently they had actual toilets with porcelain and running water. and toilet roll. Yeah, fantastic. So, hey, that's a win right there too for a lot of folks. So, yeah, the toilet facilities are important, and we do review it on the pod. There you go. All right. So people are wondering, what the heck am I listening to? Rab's talking about portaloos. They're important, okay? Now, I was told also about the layout of the venue as well. There was some people were confused about, well, they had tiered seating in, they had grandstands, and the venue itself was huge, so there was loads of space and everything. And people who sat in those grandstands, those tiered seating, perhaps didn't get, in close proximity to the arena. They weren't able to hear as well as they could be if they'd actually just went and stood at the barrier kind of thing. So, yeah, that was one kind of negative, I guess, that people were wondering, why weren't the arenas actually a bit closer to the tiered seating? I don't know. I think where they were was perfect because if you did put the arena a bit closer to where those tiered seating bits were, well, you'd have all sorts of crazy echo and things like that to deal with. Yeah. So for me, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I do reckon that that's the decision why they weren't put very close to those tiered seating, because they had a big roof over it and the whole thing would just be an echoey mess. There you are. I was also very aware, whenever we hit the button on our live stream for the results at the end of the day, that the sound system in the venue was absolutely terrible. Yeah, sorry to report, but I have been told by many people in attendance that yes, our live stream absolutely struggled to pick up the audio, and we were center stage almost. We were right next to the action, and we could barely hear it. But for other folks who were there standing in the grand finale, waiting for the results, they could hardly hear either. Apparently the speakers were all to the rear of the venue, and by the time the sound travelled across the venue, it was all a bit of an echoey mess. So people found it very challenging to hear. I've been contacted by a good number of folk in the bands, actually, that had tuned into our live stream to try and hear a bit better. Yeah, so they were all standing with their band in formation, waiting for the results, and said, here, we can't hear anything. Tune into Rab's live stream, you might hear it better. Oh, so hi, I'm glad we could be of service, but yeah, the amount of people complaining online on our stream saying the sound was terrible, and the amount of people after it saying that, yeah, the sound in the venue from the loudspeakers and stuff, they couldn't hear the announcements properly, and kind of had to work on word of mouth, People who heard the results standing somewhere next to a speaker had to shout across at other bands and say, first place was this band, second place was that band. And then by word of mouth, it travelled across the park. That's terrible. And yeah, it's a common problem, with a lot of these really huge venues actually getting some sound where people can hear the announcements and things. It's a vitally important moment for a lot of bands to hear their name read out as champion is a big deal. And yeah, the sound is a vital important part of that. So that's down to the venue. I don't believe that's for Artist PBA to sort out. They were doing the best they could with what they were provided, I guess. So I don't know. Is that something we could learn for future events? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. That was part of our wrap-up of the event. The sound in the venue, whenever it came to the loudspeakers for announcements, was quite poor. But there you go. Grand. So other than that, the reports for the March Past, actually, we didn't get any complaints about it. Some people quite happy with the duration of the March Past, saying that it was well organised, that bands didn't hang around for too long. They all kind of formed up pretty quickly and marched in, and there was no dilly-dallying. Now, yeah, whenever you can watch our live stream online, you'll see that that's the case. Bands did not hang around. And yeah, even the dishing out of the prizes and that as well. Waiting for everyone to get up on stage, give the salute, get the trophy, get the photograph, shake your hand, there's your sheets, on you go. All of that process was all really quick, to be fair. Normally it did take a bit longer at majors, but they seem to have really sped things up. So, yeah, fair play to RSPBA in that one. They've certainly upped their game there. Here you go. All right, enough about talking about everything else other than the actual results. Right, let's get into it. Starting with our drum majors. British champion for 2026, Molly Bell from Moneygore. Go on, Molly. Woohoo! Well done. In second place in M&D preference was Heidi Poots from Altnavay Memorial. Well done, Heidi. In third place was Holly Gracie from the Irvine Memorial. In fourth was Charlotte Adamson from Major Sinclair. And in fifth place was Hannah Campbell from Grantia. There you are. So well done to everyone there. Now, I have yet to see any of the runs from the junior grade. But you know what? I know people kind of look and say, that they're all youngsters and maybe the standard's not great. No. Honestly, go and have a watch at some of these youngsters doing the drum majoring thing. They are absolutely brilliant already. At this early stage in their drum majoring career, so disciplined and very musical, if anything, as well. You know, watching the flourishing and how it accompanies the music, even at this young age, just brilliant. Well done. All right, so that's our juniors. Moving on to our juveniles then. British champion for 2026, Carries Graham from Down Pipes and Drums. Well done, Carries. Yes. In second place then was Lydia Todd of McNeilstown, and she was second in M&D preference. Well done, Lydia. In third place then was Georgia Turkington from the Matt Boyd Memorial. Yes, well done, Georgia. And in fourth place was Catherine Spears from Burnt Island and District. In fifth was Logan Clark from Burnt Island and District. And in sixth place was Thea Craig, also from Burnt Island and District. So the three drum majors from Burnt Island, all in the prizes there. Fantastic. Well done, folks. There you go. All right. So that's our juvenile grade then. Moving on to our adults. Yes, winner and British champion for 2026, Jamie Couples. Yes, well done, Jamie. Of course, Jamie from Ravara Pipe Band. I have to give your band a shout out, of course, Jamie. But yeah, well done. Congratulations. In second place from New Rossin District, Louis Anderson. Well done, Louis. In third place on M&D preference, Emma Barr from the Field Marshal Montgomery. Well done, Emma. And in fourth place then was Louise Smighton from Closkelt. Go on, Louise. In fifth place on M&D preference was Ben Dixon from Drumlock. Well done, Ben. And in sixth place was Jamie Livingston from the Joseph Ford Memorial. There you are. So that's your adult drum majors. Now, again, if you do want to go and check out some of the drum majoring action, all of those videos are up there now on the Big Rab Show YouTube channel. We have some quite comprehensive coverage from the drum majoring. I do believe we have the adults and our juveniles. I don't know if we have the juniors up there or not. I don't know. I need to double check that. But we did publish that many videos over the course of the weekend. It's kind of crazy. It was very difficult keeping track of all of it. But yeah, shout out to our drum majors. What a start to the season. You know, like one thing I'm going to say here, I'm not a drum majoring expert, but seeing whenever positions are decided on M&D preference, that tells you how slim the margins are here. Like whenever you look at the junior grade, like, you know, our top six finishers there in our juniors, we had Eliza Compston from Marticoo. She was sixth on M&D preference. And we had Heidi Poots from Altnavay. She finished second on M&D preference. So this M&D really seems to kick in quite a lot in drum majoring. And, you know, just look at our adult grade, for example. There's Emma Barr from the Field Marshal, finished third on M&D preference. And we had Ben Dixon from Drumlock finishing fifth on M&D. So this M&D preference thing, it's a big deal. And, yeah, it shows you how fine the margins are with drum majoring. And that just makes it all the more entertaining to see all these incredibly talented people and just how slim the margins are. Brilliant. I love it. It's so competitive and it's so fun to watch. Go and have a look at the videos. They are up there now on the Big Rab Show YouTube channel. Go and have a look at them. And yeah, I don't know if you are an armchair judge when it comes to drum majoring, but good luck to you trying to separate them. I think they're all brilliant, to be honest. Anyway, I have a whole new respect for drum majoring. Yeah, it's a complete art form, I tell you. Anyway, let's move on to our bands then, shall we? Starting with Novice Juvenile B. And winner and British champion for 2026 in Novice Juvenile B, Edinburgh Academy. Yes, well done, Edinburgh. And in second place in ensemble preference was Oban High School. Yes, well done. In third place was Stirling and District Schools Junior. Yes, well done. In fourth place was Balerno and District Schools Pipe Bands. Yes, and in fifth place was the Isle of Arran Music School. There you are, finishing in the top five there. Excellent. And in sixth place then we had North Lanarkshire Schools. Yes. So that's your top six. Now, Some standout things for me here. The drumming actually went to our 4th place finisher, which was Balerno and District Schools. Well done, Balerno. However, they were down in the piping, so that's what kind of knocked them down the pecking order. They had a first in drumming and a first in ensemble, however, an 8-10 in piping. So that kind of knocked them down into that 4th spot there. So, yeah. All right, moving on, we have the Stirling and District Schools Junior, who finished in 3rd, and they had 2 firsts in piping. There you go. So well done, Stirling and District Schools. But yeah, that was them in 3rd spot overall, because points-wise, come out on top as British champion, Edinburgh Academy. Well done. All right, moving on to Novice Juvenile A then, and winners on the day and British champion for 2026, High School of Dundee. Yes. Where's my audience? They're around the corner. Yes, shout out to the High School of Dundee. Done so quite convincingly, actually, with 2 firsts in piping and a first in ensemble. Well done. Moving on to the 2nd place finisher then, on ensemble preference was George Watson's College, 369. They actually lifted the drumming as well on the day. Yeah, well done, George Watson's. In 3rd place was Renfrewshire Schools, 1225 to be precise. There you go. Placed 3rd with 2 seconds in piping, actually, so good result there. In 4th place, we had North Lanarkshire Schools. Well done, the North Lanarkshire. And in 5th place, we had Open High School. Yes, and in 6th place, we had Dollar Academy, 990. There you are. So, again, an extremely competitive grade with ensemble preference coming into play there, with George Watson's College finishing 2nd on ensemble preference. So, very interesting grade that. There you go. Shout out to Novice A. That's an entertaining one. I did see some of the performances. I did check out High School of Dundee, and yeah, their piping and drumming too, I have to say, was just on point. Well done, everyone there. High School of Dundee, British champions. All right. Let's move on to the Wild West then, shall we? You know, I should have a sound effect or something going, doo-woo-woo. You know, that kind of cowboy movie. Anyway, so let's move on to the Wild West. Grade 4B, and British champions for 2026 was First Troon Boys Brigade. Yes. Well done, First Troon. Fantastic. Yeah, they actually split the piping with our 2nd place finisher, who was East Kilbride. Yeah. Troon Boys Brigade had a 2-1 and East Kilbride had a 1-2 in piping. There you go. In 3rd place, we had Kilbarkin. Yeah, well done, Kilbarkin. In 4th place was Lanark and District. Well done, Lanark. And in 5th place, an ensemble preference was Paisley and District RBL. Yeah. In 6th place then on the day was Arbroath. There you go. Now, the band that picked up the drumming was Stockbridge. Yeah. Now, I haven't read out Stockbridge in the top 6 because they didn't finish top 6. Stockbridge actually finished out 11th overall on the day. And that's well down the pecking order. However, after lifting the drumming, brilliant result for the drum corps. So I'm absolutely stoked for them. Yeah. So I know this one kind of made people look a bit at it and go, hold on a minute, judges are disagreeing here. And this has happened before, where the drum corps finished 1st, but the ensemble judge had them 13th. Yeah, and we also had a disagreement with Uddingston Strathclyde, with their drumming finishing 12th. However, the ensemble judge had them 1st. So there are big differences in placings. Now, we've spoke about this before on loads of previous Rab shows, how judges can approach the music in different ways, and they can hear different things in that circle. So whenever Stockbridge won the drumming, they absolutely deserved it, you know? And yeah, the ensemble judge must have heard something different. I just don't know. So I wasn't in there with the clipboard, so I don't know. You can draw your own conclusions on that one. But either way, congratulations to First Troon Boys Brigade. I did have a listen to the run. Honestly, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, if anything, I am a fan of your drum corps. Shout out to East Kilbride drum corps too. They really enjoyed the drumming there too. Yeah. You know, the Wild West in 4B is shaping up to be a very competitive grade. And yeah, good luck to everyone in that 4B bracket there for sure. All right, let's move on to grade 4A and British champions for 2026, Money Gore. Go on, the Money Gore. Yes, they also lifted the drumming as well. So congratulations to the drum corps too, British champions. Yeah. Now, they lifted the top spot with a 1st in drumming, a 1st in ensemble. However, they had a 2-3 in piping. Yeah. They actually split the piping with their 2nd place finisher, which was the Rat-Eye Pipe Band. Yeah, Rat-Eye Pipe Band finished 2nd overall in ensemble preference, because in third place was the city of St Andrews. Shout out to them because, yeah, they actually had 2 firsts in piping. Now, I've listened to the city of St Andrews and, yeah, I can see why they won the piping. Ooh, man, talk about crystal clear. Yeah, absolutely executed brilliantly. There you go. Moving on to our 4th place finisher was Kirkcaldy and District. Well done, Kirkcaldy. And in 5th place was the City of Discovery. Now, they were a band that we were looking forward to hearing, actually, and they did not disappoint. Very musical. Really enjoyed them. Yeah. Moving on to the 6th place finisher there on the day was Strathendrick. There you go. So, folks, again, you can have a look through the results here in Grade 4A, and there are some differences in the placings again. I know this will probably be the talk of most of our major championships. You know, when bands make it difficult for the judges, it does make for an interesting conversation. Shout out to the city of Plymouth, actually, who finished in 8th place overall. They had a 12th in drumming, however, a 6th in ensemble. So a difference of opinion there between the 2 judges. Yeah. There's also other differences. Perth and District, who finished 12th overall, their drumming was placed 6th, whereas their ensemble was 13th. So, bit of a difference. So again, we've mentioned this on previous Rab shows and why these differences happen. If you do want to go back and listen to our ensemble episode, by the way, go back and have a listen to that one. It just kind of opened the doors as to what possibly each judge could be listening for and the reasons behind the differences in placings. That's all I'm going to say. Go and check that out. But yeah, congratulations to Moneygore Pipe Band, British champion for 2026 in 4A. Congratulations. Moving on to our juvenile grade then. Winner and British champion for 2026, George Watson's College Juvenile Band. Woohoo! Go on, the George Watsons. Yeah, not a bad result overall, I think. They actually lifted the drumming as well. Yeah, so congratulations, George Watsons. Yeah, convincing win there. In 2nd place was Dollar Academy. Yes, well done, Dollar. In 3rd place was the Preston Lodge 969. Go on, the PL. There you go. In 4th place was George Heriot's Schools. Well done, George Heriot. And in 5th was Lochgilly High. And in 6th was West Lothian Schools. That's all 6 bands in the grade. There you go. So, yeah, go and do yourself a favour. If you can find the performances here from the juvenile grade, go and have a listen. All right? I'm going to point you in the direction of a band that really, in my opinion, were really singing that weekend. And that's Preston Lodge. Our 3rd place finisher on the day, the PL, played a thumping good tune, man. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So they had a 2-4 in piping, however, a 3rd drumming and 3rd in ensemble. Honestly, though, I thought the set was brilliant. And so, yeah, but also, shout out to our 1st place finisher, George Watson's. Come on, that band can play. We absolutely know that. So go and check out them. And Dollar, PL, George Heriot's, Lochgilly, West Lothian. Go check out the whole grade. It's fantastic. So, yeah, there you go. Shout out to our British champion, George Watson's College. British champion. There you go. Fantastic. What a way to start the season. All right, moving on to grade 3B then. Shout out to our British champions and winners, Govan. Yes, well done, Govan. Now, whenever it was announced in the park that Govan were champions, there was a weird silence after it. You know, whenever the result got read out and British champion for 2026, Govan, well, then you could hear tumbleweeds. It was like really quiet. And then all of a sudden, wave! I don't know what the delay was or what maybe it was just a live stream, but I was told that that's what happened in the park, that there was this kind of momentarily like 2 or 3 second gap of, oh my word, we just won. And then the roar that went up. So yeah, shout out to Govan. Obviously, a little moment for it to sink in there. Or perhaps it was the sound in the venue. Maybe you didn't hear and you had to wait for the news to travel. Perhaps that was it. But yeah, congratulations to Govan. Lifted it overall with 2 firsts in piping and a 1st in ensemble as well. So well done to Govan. In 2nd place then was Rothesay in District. Yes, 2 seconds in piping, 2nd in ensemble. That pulled them into the 2nd spot there. Yeah. In 3rd place was Troon Caledonia Pipe Band. Now, I'll admit, I haven't actually heard the run from Troon Caledonia yet. However, placing 3rd, they also managed to lift the drumming on the day. So congratulations to the drum corps, British champions. Yeah, now I'll be paying more attention to Troon Caledonia. Yeah, I'll be trying to find performances from them, from the British. Haven't managed to find it yet, but I'll still keep digging. Yeah. Shout out to our 4th place finisher on ensemble preference, the J1225 pipe band. Yeah. Now, last week on our preview for the British Championships, I was talking about how I don't know much about this band, and that is still the case. I still don't know very much about this band because there doesn't seem to be any footage of them. Did anybody film the run from the J1225? If you did, please post it online. I'd love to see it. Even just to check out their multi-tartan as well. Yeah, so shout out to the J1225 pipe band, finished in 4th in ensemble preference. In 5th place was Coulter and Districts. Yes, finished 5th, however, they got 2/3 in piping, so a good weekend's work there. Yeah. In 6th place then was Kilbarkin. Yeah, well done, the mighty Kilbarkin. So that grade in itself, honestly, very entertaining. If you did manage to catch any of the performances, and my recommendation is that you absolutely should, well, yeah, shout out to everyone in 3B. Again, standards have risen across the board, and yeah, go and check out the live stream. And whenever the results get read out, and have a listen to that slight pause whenever Govan get read out. It's so heartwarming, you know. And British champion for 2026, Govan. That's what it was like. It was weird. But there you go. Let's move on to grade 3A. Now, I did mention this last week that, yeah, I would put money on it that this would be the most competitive grade this season. And looking at this grade, the way it shook down, they did not make it easy for the judges here, you know? And that tells a tale right there. Let's read out the results. British champion for 2026 in grade 3A, Burnt Island and District, 1245 to be precise. There you go. Well done, Burnt Island. 2 firsts in piping and a 1st in ensemble. That was enough to pull them into the top spot. Well done, Burnt Island. In 2nd place was Macanta. Yeah, quite a convincing 2nd place, actually. 2 seconds in piping, 2nd in drumming, 2nd in ensemble. Very firm in that 2nd spot there. Well done. In 3rd place was the Livingston Caledonia. Go on, the Livy. Yeah, they also managed to lift the drumming on the day as well. So, British Drum Corps champions. Well done. Yeah. In 4th place was Dunbar RBL. Yes. And in 5th place, we had the Major Sinclair Memorial. Well done, the Major Sinclair. And in 6th place, we had Elgin and District there. There you are. So, folks, there are other bands in here that I do want to give an honourable mention to that I really did enjoy. Now, it was remiss of me. Last week, I didn't mention them, and I absolutely should have done. Shout out to the Concord pipe band from the Netherlands. Yeah, that's on me. I didn't give you a shout. My apologies. That is
Stuff the Rab got wrong.
Absolutely. So, yeah, shout out to the Concord pipe band. Brilliant to see you at the British Championships. And, yeah, respectable result overall. Finished 13th on the day. So not bad out of a grade of 18. You are. Also, shout out to the German Thistle Pipes and Drums, who were definitely a star attraction on the day. Everyone was so happy to see them. And, yeah, they played a good tune. Now, however, they did finish at the bottom of the pecking order, but they were still in that circle, thumping out tunes. So brilliant to see them. The German Thistle Pipes and Drums, and I say they were a bit of an attraction on the day. A lot of people made a point to go and have a listen to them. So, yeah, brilliant to see them. There you are. So, yes, that grade 3A bracket, folks, I reckon, now I'm going to say it again, I've listened to a good number of the performances here now from the British Championships in here. Bands for me, personally, that really shone. I think, again, that set from the Livingston Caledonia, I can see why they lifted the drumming. Just blistering, absolutely. I also have to give a mention to the Major Sinclair Memorial. They might have finished in 5th place overall, but they had 2/3 in piping, so that's a brilliant result overall for the Major Sinclair. I honestly think building to bigger, better things, you just don't know. And this is the thing. As much as we're talking about prizes and all of that, at this point in the season, this is the first major, folks. We've a long road to go before we hit August and we get to the big one. So you just don't know how this grade 3A is going to shake down. You know, Burnt Island and District 1245 have definitely set out their stall early with a very convincing win there in 3A. But there are other bands that are nipping at their heels. Macanta, for example. Dunbar RBL also played a good set. Elgin as well. Shout out to Elgin. And I have to mention Clough-Finn, of course, again, played a good set. City of London as well were blowing a big tone. I don't know. Just so many good bands in here. Uddingston Strathclyde as well had a good weekend. City of Inverness as well. I don't know, folks. So many good bands in this 3A bracket. It's going to be a dogfight in here. It's not going to be easy weekend to weekend. So good luck, everyone in there, for future competitions. If the British Championships was anything to go by, they did not make it easy for the judges. All right, let's move on to the ridiculous grade. Oh, baby. Right. Where do I start? Oh, man. Okay. Grade 2 winner and British champion for 2026, Buchan Peterson. Go on, the BP. Excellent stuff. Yeah. So, Buchan Peterson's performance at the British, I've watched it back a few times now. Just brilliant. Well done to Buchan Peterson. The 2 seconds in piping, second in drumming, second in ensemble. However, points-wise, that was enough to pull him into that top spot. Well done, Buchan. That was fantastic. In second place then was the Royal Borough of Annan. Yeah, and again, another really strong performance. If anything, I love their drumming. So shout out to the Royal Borough of Annan. Just fantastic. In third place then, we had Texo D-Side Caledonia. They actually finished in third in ensemble preference. They actually finished first in ensemble. Yeah, so that pulled them into the third spot there. Well done to the Texo D-Side Caledonia. In fourth place then, we had Bucksburn and Districts. Well done, the mighty Bucksburn. And in fifth place, we had Grampian Police. Yeah, now Grampian were a band that I was very keen to see. Over the course of the winter, they've been, teasing little musical bits and stuff online, but hadn't really heard much, full performances from them. So this was the first chance to see them. And man, they didn't disappoint. Actually finished in third in ensemble, yeah, but placing fifth overall. So not a bad weekend's work there for Grampian. Yeah, promising things there. Now, in sixth place was Uddingston. Now, they actually lifted the drumming as well. So congratulations to Craig and everybody there at the back line at Uddingston, British champion drum corps. There you are. Give you a round of applause there. Brilliant. So this was kind of, a bit of a talking point on the day. Everyone was expecting, right, Uddingston's going to storm in here, but hey, such a competitive grade, But whenever they were read out as drumming champions, everyone was going, right, oh man, right, they're going to win it. They're going to place first here. But no, they didn't. So actually finishing in sixth place overall. Yeah. So they had 2 tenths in piping and a fourth in ensemble. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, I wasn't in there with the clipboard. All right. But, shout out to Uddingston again in that top 6 bracket in what is an incredibly competitive grade. Yikes. For any band in that grade 2 bracket, you talk about grade 3A being a dogfight. This one here is like bare knuckle boxing. Grade 2 is insane, and there's a reason why we call it the ridiculous grade. Any band in that circle in grade 2 can really thump a good tune. Shout out to Manor Cunningham, actually, just finished just out of the prizes, finishing 7th overall. I really enjoyed their performance, thought it was really good. Also, shout out to Johnstone as well. Great to see them in the circle, of course, but again, just out of the prizes, finishing in 8th spot there overall. Do you know what? There's so many good bands in here in grade 2. You could absolutely just throw a dart at a dartboard and any one of those bands on their day could deserve the win. That's my opinion. All right? So, I don't know. You can send me in your angry listener mail right now. I can hear people typing now. Oh, Rob, you're nothing but a... Right. So, hi. Congratulations to Buchan Peterson, British champions for 2026. And, shout out to the Uddingston as well, lifting the drumming. Congratulations. All right. Let's talk about the top flight then. Oh, baby. Now, everyone and their dog has an opinion on grade 1. Okay? Now, I have to say, for those of you who haven't checked it out yet, we have some incredible recordings from grade 1 at the British Championships. Go and have a watch at all of them. The detail that we managed to capture here with these performances is just second to none. It's fantastic. Shout out to Ewan, by the way, and the Rab Show team who captured these. I don't know how he managed to get the quality that he did, but hey, he worked his miracles. It just looked and sounded fantastic in blistering 4K and Dolby surround sound. If you are going to listen to it, I would recommend putting headphones on, just sitting down, put the YouTube on, Big Rab Show YouTube channel, and just watch all of Grade 1 from the British. Man, I've watched all of these performances now, I think 3 or 4 times each, and I can't separate them. Okay, now I know that you're going to start yelling at your podcast player, "Oh, Rab, get off the fence, buddy. Tell us what you really think." That is what I really think, honestly. Now, granted, there was some shock surprises in here that I was not expecting, and we're going to talk about that. But honestly, overall, the grade itself, thoroughly entertaining, and we're not down to the point of looking for mistakes here. You're not looking for errors in playing. You're not looking for bad tuning, bad blowing, no control. There's no rise and fall for the drum corps, integration issues. There's none of that. This doesn't happen in Grade 1. What you're dealing with here in Grade 1 is how the music moves you. Now, I know that sounds really corny, but it's very true. This is the margins we're dealing with in Grade 1. Say, for example, in Grade 1, someone makes a big flub and starts playing wrong notes all over the place. That just does not happen in Grade 1. These are absolute masters of their craft in Grade 1, and it shows. All right. Who won then, Rab? For those of you who don't know, well, winner and British champion for 2026, Shots and Dykehead Caledonia. Yes. Well done to Pipe Major Emmett Conway and co there at the Mighty Shots. They also lifted the drumming title on the day as well. So well done to the drum corps there too. Man, what a moment for the band. Now, they've done this quite convincingly as well. 2 firsts in piping, first in drumming, first in ensemble. They absolutely swept the boards with this. And that was one of the things that was unexpected. I did not expect the winner in this grade to sweep the boards like that. I thought it would be, a bit more of a point here, a point there, a point everywhere. And it'd be a bit messy. But that's possibly one of the talking points here, that it just isn't as messy as we had expected. Yeah, we're seeing judges here agreeing a lot in Grade 1 here. And that's possibly a talking point. Let's move on. But congratulations to Shots. Honestly, deserved winners. If you haven't heard the set yet that they played in the circle, man, I could only imagine what it would be like to be in the circle when that is happening. I wouldn't have words to describe it. And I'm sure the players themselves don't have words for it either. It's just pure magic. That's what I want to say. So shout out to Shots. What a performance. Fantastic. In second place then on the day was People's Ford, Bog Hall and Bathgate, Caledonia. Yeah, again, with another medley selection filled with fireworks. Just brilliant. Yeah. In third place was our current world champions, Inverary District. Yeah, I particularly enjoyed their drumming, especially their tenor corps. Yeah, so shout out to Inverary. Yeah, third place finishers. In fourth place then was Police Scotland Fife. Yeah, now we're honestly starting to see the mighty Fife Polis climb that ladder, aren't we? Now, we've spoke about this in previous Rab shows that they would be a band to keep an eye on, especially after their performance at the Kids with Cancer night there back in April. Well, they've hit the ground running, haven't they? Yeah, quite an impressive performance there, so well done to the fourth place finishers. Now, this is one of the talking points on the day, was our fifth place finisher on ensemble preference was the Field Marshal Montgomery. Now, they finished in fifth overall, with a second in drumming, so shout out to the drum corps, but they had 2 8s in piping. Now, that was quite a shocking result for Field Marshal, who've been quite famous for their powerhouse of a bagpipe corps, you know? So, yeah, a lot of people were kind of going, what? Really? Yeah, so there you go. 2 8s in piping for Field Marshal, 2nd in drumming, however, 5th in ensemble. So, yeah, they finished in 5th overall in ensemble preference, because in 6th place was the return of the mighty Federation. Go on, the Federation. Police Scotland and Federation finished in 6th place overall on the day. There you go. So, folks, other bands that didn't get a mention in the prizes that I absolutely believe that should have been St. Lawrence O'Toole. Did you hear the set? Oh, my word. Yeah, well, you folks know I'm a St. Lawrence fan. I love their music. And, yeah, the selection they have this year really does kind of ring my bell. I love it. But, yeah, finishing in 7th, just out of the prizes. That was a bit of a surprise to me. Yeah. Also, shout out to Scottish Power as well, finishing in 8th place overall. Again, a bit of a shocker for me. I would have had them, I don't know, in the fight there. Honestly, Scottish Power playing a great set there. And then in 9th spot then was Ravara, but I have to give a mention to their drum corps that actually finished 6th overall. So that's a great result for the Ravara drum corps there. So congratulations. So, yeah, grade 1. Now, I don't know, for folks who were tuning in on the Saturday night, after the British Championships had wrapped up and everything, I decided to do a bit of a live stream online to talk about the British Championships, kind of wrap it all up. For those that didn't catch the results or perhaps couldn't hear them in the venue, I decided to do a bit of an online live stream, and the amount of discussion, all talking about the results, grade 1, grade 2, 3A, 3B, etc. And yeah, I mentioned it at the start of the show. The tinfoil hat people are out in force. Man, see the amount of theories I heard and the amount of,
this and that, and this and that, and this boy, and this girl, and this butt. Oh, come on.
Yeah, there's so many theories out there. And for me, honestly, if I was in the circle with the clipboard, I would be having a nightmare. I would not know how to separate them. And that's not me sitting on the fence. I've tried listening to these performances and I've tried to split them. Every band has their story, and every band absolutely played out of their skin in the top flight. I can't split them. Come on. Oh, I don't know. But for me, it was such a cool moment. Actually, I think I read a post online somewhere that this was Shots and Dykehead's first major championship win since 2015. Now, again, I haven't had that verified yet. There's been a few people arguing with me, saying they've won a few minor competitions. Yes, understand that. Shots have definitely won a few minors since 2015, of course. But I'm thinking this is the first major championship win since 2015. Now, is that
Stuff the Rab got wrong.
I don't know. I would love to know if it is or not, because if it is stuff that I get wrong, then, of course, I will retract my statement. But I think this is a big moment for Shots. You know, certainly a big moment for Emmett Conway and everyone there at the back line at the drum corps as well. All you have to do is look at the footage that we caught of the band marching off the field as British champions. You could see how much it meant to them, and emotions were high. The performance that they played was just sheer joy. You know, sometimes whenever you see bands marching off the field as, you know, a major champion, they're very focused on producing the best quality performance off the field and, you know, very sharply focused on every detail. But Shots were just honestly playing on emotion, and it was just very clear and just really enjoyable to watch. Go and check out that video, by the way. It's up there in the Rab Show YouTube channel. When Shots marched off the field as British champion. Very cool moment, yeah. But a lot of debate and a lot of people asking my opinion about the Field Marshal Montgomery's piping placing, obviously with 2 8s in piping. That did get people talking, yeah. Also St. Lawrence O'Toole with 2 7ths in piping, people questioning that as well. I don't know, folks. The placings in here with grade 1, the judges seem to be largely in agreement here. Whenever you look at the placings, like we have a 1-1 for Shots, we have a 2-2 for People's Ford, Bog Hall and Bathgate. They do get split here when it comes to Inverary and Police Scotland Fife. We had a 5-3 and a 3-5. Yeah. And then we have agreement for all the rest of them. Field Marshal with 2 8s, Police Scotland Federation with 2 4ths, St. Lawrence 2 7ths, Scottish Power 2 6s, and Ravara 2 9s. So right. I do know that there has, been discussion between judges. I believe this is kind of one of the rulings that was set in place that judges can confer. And that was talked about at a previous AGM where they're actually kind of encouraged to discuss with each other what they thought about each performance. Now, I do know that they cannot discuss placings. I think that's one thing that they cannot discuss. They can talk about, what they heard. What did they think about a phrasing? Was there any particular issue that you recognized over there? Did you hear the same thing I did? That kind of thing. I believe discussion amongst judges can happen that way. They are allowed to confer. Now, whether that is, shouting across the park and go, "Hey, piping judge, what place do you have them boys? Fourth? No bother, I'll put them fourth too." I don't think that happens. Definitely not. I think it's forbidden, actually. It's in the rules that they're not allowed to do so. I think it's very much the same thing for the drumming and the ensemble judge. I don't think they're allowed to discuss placings either. I think they can talk about, what did you think about the tuning of the tenors or the snares, for example, or talk about different things like that. What did you hear? You can't talk about what did you place. That's the difference here. But it is very clear from grade 1 that our adjudicators are in agreement here. There are other grades where they're very clearly not in agreement. And that's a talking point too, where the drumming judge and the ensemble judge are complete polar opposites. I think largely on the whole, though, our piping judges across the grades, not just in the top flight, but largely overall, have been pretty much in agreement here. Yeah, with a lot of our placings. So anyway, I'm not kind of casting aspersions. I'm not saying that they're comparing placings. But we are seeing evidence of it where our judges are allowed to confer. And perhaps as a result of that conversation, they're able to go, well, okay, maybe I did hear that. Maybe I did. Is that right? I wasn't over that side when that happened. That kind of thing. So I don't know. Perhaps that's something we can clarify with the adjudicator board. What exactly can they chat about? After each performance, are they allowed to talk about what they're having for dinner that evening? Or can they talk about what they just heard? Yeah, that's an interesting one there. There you go. This past weekend's British Championships was so enjoyable. And that's my takeaway from this. The first major championship in the season was just that. It was so entertaining. It started the ball rolling. For what I do believe, 2026 is going to be a stellar year. We're going to have a story to tell running into each major championship. And then afterwards, the aftermath. Well, then that just happened. Where are we now? So where are we now at this point on the 3rd of June? Well, I can tell you, our bagpiping world is in an extremely healthy place. If anything, it's much better. The standard has risen across the board. And if anything, they're not making it easy for our judges. And that's what I love about it. All right, folks, you can email me in your opinions about all things British Championships, of course. bigrabshow@gmail.com. Send them in to us. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, you can also send in your own weekly drone as well. And I've no doubt we'll get some weekly drones after this week's show. Yeah. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com. That big button at the top of the page that says weekly drone. Let us know your thoughts. I have to say congratulations to Shots and Dykehead, Caledonia, British champions for 2026 and British drum corps champions as well. They seem to be incredibly proud marching off that field as champions, and that has started the ball rolling. It's now also sparked a conversation as to what the rest of the season will actually look like. Our defending world champions in the mix, People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate with their fireworks, Police Scotland Fife and that Grands medley, Field Marshal and their huge tribute medley, the Gordon Duncan tribute set. Wow. The Federation are back and they're in the prizes. Come on. That's so good. And come on, St. Lawrence O'Toole and that set with that drum corps. Come on. Scottish Power and their tone, absolute tone machine, man. Cheapers. And Ravara as well. And what Matthew's doing at the back row there with their drum corps, they're absolutely clicking at the moment. So shout out to Ravara. Yeah. Folks, this is going to be an enjoyable year. Not just in grade 1, but at all levels. And congratulations to anyone if you did manage to lift some silverware. And if you didn't lift any prizes at all, Well, we'll see you all in the next one. Because on next week's Big Rab Show podcast, we will be previewing the UK Championships. Yes, we'll be looking forward to the second. I was going to say first there. This is the second major in the calendar. UK Championships in sunny Belfast. And that'll be an interesting one for a lot of different reasons. Yeah. Now, I just want to put this out at the end of this week's pod. See the amount of people asking me about logistics for the UKs. Now, what I mean by logistics is, where can I park my car? Where can I park my camper van? Am I allowed to drive in with a gazebo? Where do I offload the drums, etc.? I don't know. Yeah, we're still waiting on that information at this point. So if you do want info on the UKs, my advice is go to the RSPBA on their socials or, on their website. Go and find all that information out for the UKs. We will get into all on next week's Big Rab Show pod. The UK Championship preview is next week. But congratulations to all of our British champions. Congratulations. And we will see you all this weekend, hopefully, in Cookstown, in Innerleithen, and Markinch, and all the other contests that we mentioned earlier on in the news and updates. Yeah, Big Rab Show team are going to be incredibly busy this weekend, competing and hopefully filming performances for you. So do keep across all of our socials and, of course, our YouTube channel as we do our best to cover everything that happened in the scene over the course of the next week. And we will see you all here, back again next week for even more bagpiping shenanigans for our UK Championships preview. Until then, I'll see you all then. All the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.